Hello, we are beginning week 6, which means that we are getting closer to the end of the semester. We only have, after this week, about 2 more weeks before the semester ends. So I hope that you are using your time management skills that you learned in week 4, I believe, to work on making sure that you are doing what you need to be doing. So in college, we typically want you to be able to apply what you're learning, to be able to critically think, come to your own conclusions, but sometimes you've just got to memorize. The example that comes to my mind is medical terminology and memorizing words, suffixes, root words, things of that nature. So sometimes we just have to build muscle memory to memorize things. Sometimes we have to memorize people's names. How many times have you been somewhere and someone introduced you to someone and the person walked off and you couldn't remember their name? That happens to me all the time. So let's go over this week. So we have our overview video of the week, and then we have the week 6 overview. Please read this. It contains some really good information about memorization techniques and things you just need to know about. Then we have our PowerPoint for memorization techniques. Please review this. Even if you think you've got the best memorization techniques possible, there's always something to learn, and you have a quiz on it. So go through that. Make sure you pay careful attention to the different types of memorization techniques and things to help you learn. And then we have a video on enhancing learning and memory, so make sure you watch that. Your assignments for this week is a memorization quiz on both the PowerPoint and the video. So please make sure you, again, review those before you take the quiz. You do have 2 chances. And then we will have our chit chat and check-in. Why does memorization matter? So let's discuss this for just a moment. I'm going to click on it to take us into the directions. So the first thing you're going to do is to reflect back on a time when you had to memorize something. Maybe when I was in the 8th grade, I had to memorize a poem by Robert Frost. And all semester I had to memorize this poem. So it could be something like that. It could be phone numbers, bank accounts, anything. Okay, so think about a time. And then answer the 2 questions underneath your task. But what I want to pay attention to is the requirements for your post. In past posts, you have been given a number of sentences that you had a minimum range for you to write. And many of you are doing great, but some are writing very simple sentences. For example, I use flashcards to memorize, period. I repeat the words over and over, period. We don't talk like that. That's the way robots talk. We talk in complex, compound sentences. So those are the ideas I want to see when I'm grading and reading your assignments. I want to see your thoughts and ideas about memorization and how best to use it and why does it matter to memorize things. So please, in those 5 to 7 sentences, write complete sentences, but also write sentences that are exploring your ideas. This is a conversation, a dialogue between you and me and your classmates. And so make sure that you are doing that, because if we were sitting in a classroom, you wouldn't say, I use flashcards, period. All right, you would expand upon it. So do that in your discussion board post. Use those time management skills that you learned previously to not wait until the last minute to do your discussion board post. That might help you to make better and broader discussion board post. And then 25 points is for grammar. And then again, you will have to respond to a classmate. And again, don't say, yes, I also use flashcards, period. Ask them questions. Give an example of when you use flashcards that best helped you, or a way you use flashcards that are different than the way they use flashcards. So really, it's a dialogue, and that's what I want to see. This class is designed to help prepare you for future discussion board posts. When you go into more advanced classes, your discussion board posts are going to have to be much broader and more in depth. And so that's what we want to try and get you in the practice of, so that it just becomes habit for you to write in depth and to fully explain your ideas in these discussion board posts. All right, so all of this is due Thursday, April 23rd by 11:59 p.m. And so if you have any questions, let me know. Y'all have a great week.